The last line of defense. Captain Sarah Chen stood motionless on the bridge of the TSS Avalon, her eyes fixed on the holographic display showing thousands of enemy vessels approaching Earth's solar system. The massive warship, humanity's greatest technological achievement, hummed softly around her. 10 years of secret development, countless breakthroughs, and humanity's finest minds had created this single vessel instead of the massive fleets other nations attempted to build. Multiple quantum signatures detected at the edge of the Kuiper Belt, announced Lieutenant Marcus Rodriguez from his sensor station. Energy readings are consistent with previous scans of the Nexar battle fleet. Sarah's jaw tightened. The Nexar Empire had spent centuries conquering countless civilizations, always following the same pattern. Overwhelmed with numbers, demand surrender, then strip the defeated worlds of resources. Their ultimatum to Earth had been typically arrogant: submit or face annihilation. "How many ships, Lieutenant?" she asked, though she already knew the answer. 1,217 vessels, Captain. Their formation suggests standard Nexar battle doctrine: waves of destroyer-class ships followed by heavy cruisers and command vessels. Commander David O'Neill, her first officer, approached with a tablet displaying the latest systems diagnostics. "All stations report ready, Captain." Dr. Wong confirms the quantum mirror drive is operating at optimal capacity. The quantum mirror drive was humanity's ace, a revolutionary system that could absorb and redirect energy weapons, turning an enemy's strength against them. But it had never been tested in actual combat. "Status of the Ghost Protocol?" Sarah asked, referring to their other secret weapon. "Ready for activation on your command," replied Lieutenant Commander Yuki Tanaka from the engineering station. "Though I should remind you that extended use could destabilize the quantum field matrix." Sarah nodded, understanding the risks. The Ghost Protocol would allow the Avalon to execute maneuvers that should be physically impossible, but push it too far, and they'd tear their own ship apart. The bridge crew worked with quiet efficiency, each member chosen not just for their skills, but for their ability to think creatively under pressure. They'd need every ounce of human ingenuity to survive what was coming. "Captain," called out Communications Officer Maya Patel, "we're receiving a transmission from the Nexar fleet, standard frequencies." "On screen," Sarah ordered, squaring her shoulders. A towering figure appeared on the main display: High Admiral Vexthor of the Nexar Empire. His crystalline exoskeleton gleamed with embedded rank markers, and his 4 eyes studied them with obvious disdain. "Attention Earth vessel," he began, his translator converting his clicks and whistles into English. "This is your final warning. Our scans indicate your ship, while impressive for such a primitive species, stands no chance against our armada. Surrender now, and we will ensure your planet's resources are harvested humanely." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the TSS Avalon. We appreciate your concern for our well-being, Admiral, but we'll have to decline. This system is under humanity's protection." Protection. Vexthor's translator couldn't quite capture his tone of incredulous amusement. "You face over 1,000 warships with a single vessel. Our smallest destroyer could reduce your ship to atoms." "Numbers aren't everything, Admiral," Sarah replied calmly. "Humanity has a long history of overcoming impossible odds. We'd be happy to demonstrate." "Your species' arrogance will be its downfall," Vexthor declared. "You have 1 hour to reconsider before we begin our attack." End transmission. As the screen went dark, Commander O'Neill moved closer to Sarah's command chair. "They're underestimating us," he said quietly. "Good," Sarah replied. "That's exactly what we want." She turned to address the bridge crew. "All hands to battle stations. Begin quantum mirror drive warm-up sequence. Lieutenant Tanaka, prepare Ghost Protocol for my mark." As klaxons sounded throughout the massive ship, Sarah felt a fierce pride in her crew and vessel. The Nexar Empire thought they were facing a primitive species with a single warship. They were about to learn that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in numbers. It was in their ability to innovate, adapt, and overcome. Helm, set course to intercept the enemy fleet at the orbit of Saturn, she ordered. Let's show them what one human ship can do. The TSS Avalon's engines flared to life, pushing the massive vessel forward to meet an enemy force that outnumbered them 1,000 to 1. But numbers weren't everything. Sometimes one was all you needed. The Ghost Protocol. The rains of Saturn cast long shadows across the TSS Avalon's hull as the ship took up its defensive position. In the ship's primary engineering bay, Lieutenant Commander Yuki Tanaka's fingers danced across holographic controls, fine-tuning the quantum mirror drive's crystalline matrix. Energy absorption capacitors at maximum, she reported through the ship's comm system. Ghost Protocol standing by, but Captain, you need to know something about the simulations. Go ahead, Commander, Sarah's voice replied from the bridge. The latest calculations show we might be able to push the system further than we thought. If we time the energy conversion perfectly with the Ghost Protocol activation, we could potentially execute maneuvers that even our own simulations couldn't predict. A moment of silence followed. What's the risk? Total quantum field collapse if we miscalculate. But if it works, Yuki let the implications hang in the air. Understood. Stand by. On the bridge, Sarah watched as the enemy fleet approached in perfect formation. The Nexer relied on strict battle doctrine. Centuries of conquest had made them inflexible, predictable. It was about to become their greatest weakness. First wave of destroyers breaking off from the main fleet, Marcus reported from his sensor station. They're moving to surround us. Sarah nodded. Just as expected. Commander O'Neill, initiate defense pattern Alpha. Let's show them our teeth. The Avalon's conventional weapons came online. A formality, really, meant to convince the enemy they were fighting a normal warship. The real show was about to begin. Enemy vessels launching first salvo, Maya announced. Multiple plasma torpedoes detected. Hold position, Sarah ordered. She could feel the tension on the bridge, her crew fighting their instinct to evade. Quantum mirror drive status. Ready for energy absorption, Yuki's voice came back. Matrix is primed and stable. The space around the Avalon lit up as hundreds of plasma torpedoes streaked toward them. At the last possible moment, Sarah gave the command. Initiate quantum mirror drive. The torpedoes struck, but instead of explosions, there was only a brilliant blue glow as the quantum mirror drive absorbed the energy, converting it into raw power. The enemy's attack had just made them stronger. Energy conversion successful, Yuki reported, excitement clear in her voice. Power levels at 120% of baseline. We can now fire back with their own energy signature. On the enemy command ship, High Admiral Vexthor watched in disbelief as his first wave's attack was completely neutralized. Impossible, he hissed. Launch secondary assault pattern. All destroyers, concentrate fire. The second wave of attacks came faster, harder. But now the Avalon was ready to demonstrate its true capabilities. Ghost Protocol status, Sarah asked. Primed and ready, David replied. But remember, we've never attempted this with a full power load. Sarah allowed herself a grim smile. There's a first time for everything. Execute Ghost Protocol on my mark. The enemy fleet's second wave opened fire, their energy weapons lighting up space like artificial stars. This time, when the quantum mirror drive absorbed the attack, Sarah gave the order that would change everything. Ghost Protocol. Activate. For a fraction of a second, the TSS Avalon seemed to flicker, its outline becoming indistinct. Then, impossibly, it was in 3 places at once. The quantum drive bending space-time itself, creating multiple quantum state versions of the ship. By the eternal void, Vexthor breathed, watching the impossible sight on his command screen. What manner of devilry is this? The Avalon's quantum echoes moved with perfect synchronization, each one appearing as solid and real as the original. Energy weapons passed harmlessly through some images while others absorbed the attacks, making it impossible to determine which was the real ship. Multiple targets are causing confusion in their targeting systems, Marcus reported with satisfaction. Their battle computers can't adapt to what we're doing. It doesn't fit any known combat doctrine. Good, Sarah replied. Now let's show them what else we can do. Lieutenant Commander Tanaka, prepare to redistribute the absorbed energy. All weapons stations, stand by for pattern Omega. The Avalon's quantum echoes suddenly converged, combining their absorbed energy into a single massive burst. The ship's weapons released the stored power in a devastating wave that rippled through the enemy's destroyer screen, overloading their shields with their own energy signatures. Direct hits on multiple targets, Maya reported. Enemy destroyers breaking formation. Their command and control network is showing signs of strain. Sarah leaned forward in her command chair. Now we press our advantage. Helm, execute attack pattern Delta. Let's show them what happens when they underestimate human ingenuity. The TSS Avalon surged forward, its quantum echoes splitting and reforming in an impossible dance that defied the laws of physics as the Nexer understood them. One human ship was about to teach an empire the cost of arrogance, and the battle had only just begun. Breaking formation. The void between Saturn's rings became a battlefield of light and shadow as the TSS Avalon executed maneuvers that should have been impossible. Ice crystals from the rings scattered weapon fire like prisms, creating a disorienting display that only added to the Nexer fleet's confusion. Their formation is breaking down, Commander O'Neill reported, studying the tactical display. The destroyer screen is trying to maintain standard attack patterns, but they can't coordinate their fire solutions against our quantum echoes. Captain Chen watched as another wave of enemy fire passed harmlessly through one of their ghost images, while the real Avalon absorbed energy from a different attack vector. Status of the quantum mirror drive. Energy absorption levels at 140% and climbing. Yuki's voice came through the comm. But Captain, we're seeing unusual patterns in the quantum field matrix. The Ghost protocol is creating feedback loops we didn't anticipate. Can we use it? Sarah asked, her mind already racing through tactical possibilities. Maybe. The feedback is actually amplifying our quantum state multiplicity. We could potentially create even more echoes, but it would be unpredictable. High Admiral Vexthor's voice suddenly boomed across all communication channels. Enough of these parlor tricks. All cruiser squadrons. Advance. Concentrate all fire on every target signature. Let's see how their deceptions hold up against overwhelming force. The main Nexer battle fleet began to move forward, hundreds of massive cruisers bringing their heavy weapons to bear. Each one dwarfed the Avalon in size, their combined firepower enough to reduce a small moon to atoms. Multiple targeting locks detected, Marcus called out. They're charging their primary weapon arrays. Sarah's expression hardened. They want to overwhelm us with brute force. Let's show them why that's a mistake. Commander Tanaka, initiate Protocol Omega-3. Captain, Yuki's voice held a note of concern. Omega-3 hasn't been tested outside simulations. The energy requirements are exactly what they're about to give us. Sarah finished. Execute on my mark. The enemy cruisers opened fire simultaneously, their energy weapons converging from all directions. For a moment, the Avalon seemed to be at the center of an artificial sun as thousands of beams struck its position. Now, Sarah ordered. The quantum mirror drive engaged at full power, absorbing the massive energy assault. But instead of storing it, the system channeled it directly into the Ghost protocol. The feedback loop Yuki had detected amplified exponentially. Space itself seemed to shudder as the Avalon didn't just split into 3 or 4 quantum echoes. It multiplied into dozens, then hundreds of perfect copies, each one appearing as solid and real as the original. The Phantom Fleet spread out in a massive sphere, completely surrounding the Nexer formation. By all the stars, Maya whispered, watching her tactical display. Their targeting computers are going into complete cascade failure. They can't process this many potential targets. The enemy fleet's rigid formation began to break down as ships tried to target multiple Avalon signatures simultaneously. Their disciplined attack patterns dissolved into chaos as centuries of trained responses proved useless against an impossible scenario. Their command and control network is collapsing, Marcus reported. Individual ship commanders are starting to act independently. They've lost tactical cohesion. Sarah allowed herself a tight smile. Now we show them the cost of relying too heavily on doctrine. All weapons stations, prepare for synchronized fire pattern Delta 6. We're going to give them back every bit of energy they just gave us. The hundreds of Avalon quantum echoes began to move in perfect synchronization, weaving between enemy vessels with impossible grace. Each phantom ship carried a portion of the absorbed energy, ready to release it with devastating precision. Target their command and control nodes, Sarah ordered. Let's see how well their battle doctrine holds up when they can't coordinate their responses. The Avalon's quantum fleet struck simultaneously, each echo releasing its stored energy in a precisely calculated burst. The attacks weren't meant to destroy. They targeted communication arrays, sensor suites, and coordination systems. The Nexer's greatest strength, their unified battle network, became their greatest vulnerability. On his command ship, Vexthor watched in growing horror as his fleet's carefully maintained formation collapsed into disarray. Impossible, he snarled. No single ship could possess this level of technology. No single species could achieve this. That's where you made your mistake, Admiral. Sarah's voice came back across the command channel. You judged us by your standards, measured us against your limitations. Humanity doesn't accept limitations. We overcome them. The battle was far from over, but as Sarah watched the enemy fleet struggling to reorganize, she knew they'd achieved something crucial. They'd shaken the Nexer Empire's certainty in their own superiority. Now it was time to show them exactly what humanity could do when pushed to innovate. The heart of innovation. In the Avalon's engineering bay, alarms blared as the quantum mirror drive's core temperature approached critical levels. Lieutenant Commander Yuki Tanaka moved between monitoring stations with practiced efficiency, her hands dancing across control interfaces as she fought to maintain stability in systems being pushed far beyond their designed limits. The quantum field matrix is destabilizing, she reported to the bridge. We're getting cascade failures in the energy absorption buffers. Captain, we need to reduce power output or we risk a total system collapse. How long can you hold it together? Sarah's voice was steady despite the chaos of battle surrounding them. Yuki studied the readings, her mind racing through calculations. Maybe 10 minutes at current output. The Ghost protocol is drawing more power than we ever anticipated. The feedback loop's air. She stopped as a new alert caught her attention. Captain, I'm detecting something strange in the quantum signature readings. Define strange, Commander. The quantum echoes, they're becoming more stable, not less. It's like they're learning from each other, creating a self-reinforcing network of quantum states. I've never seen anything like this. On the bridge, Sarah processed this information as she watched the tactical display. The Nexer fleet was regrouping, bringing their heavy cruisers into a defensive formation around their command ships. They'd learned they couldn't match the Avalon's maneuverability, so they were falling back on pure firepower. Multiple energy signatures detected, Marcus called out. They're charging something big, Captain. Power readings are off the charts. Commander O'Neill moved to Sarah's side. They're going to try to overwhelm our absorption capacity with a single massive burst. Even with the quantum mirror drive, I'm not sure we can handle that much energy at once. Captain, Yuki's voice came through again. I have an idea. It's risky, but... At this point, Commander, risky is all we have. What are you thinking? The quantum echo network is creating its own sustainable field. If we can synchronize it with the mirror drive's absorption matrix, we might be able to distribute the incoming energy across all quantum states simultaneously. Instead of our ship trying to absorb everything, each echo would take a fraction of the load. Sarah's eyes narrowed. Would that work? In theory. But we'd be attempting something that defies our current understanding of quantum mechanics. The calculations alone. Don't have time for calculations, Sarah cut in. Enemy fleet is powering up their main weapons. We need a decision now. In engineering, Yuki took a deep breath. This was why humanity had succeeded where other species failed. The ability to take calculated risks, to push beyond theoretical limits when necessity demanded it. Beginning quantum field synchronization, she announced, her fingers flying across control surfaces, routing power to the main containment array. Ghost protocol is responding. Field coherence is holding steady. The enemy fleet's weapons reached full charge, their combined energy signature creating a visible distortion in space. High Admiral Vexthor's voice boomed across all frequencies. "You've fought well for a primitive species. But now you'll learn why the Nexer Empire has never known defeat. All ships, fire." The combined blast from 1,000 ships created a beam of energy so powerful it seemed to bend light itself. As it approached the Avalon, the quantum echoes suddenly moved in perfect synchronization, arranging themselves in a complex geometric pattern. "Quantum field synchronization complete," Yuki reported, her voice tight with concentration. "Mirror drive engaging." No. The massive energy beam struck the Avalon's defensive network. Instead of overwhelming their systems, the energy began flowing through the quantum echo pattern like electricity through a circuit. Each phantom ship absorbed a portion, the load distributed across hundreds of quantum states. "It's working," Yuki exclaimed. "The quantum network is stable. Energy absorption is, my God." "Report, Commander," Sarah ordered. "Captain, we're not just absorbing the energy. The quantum network is amplifying it. Power levels are approaching 300% of theoretical maximum. But the system is holding. We've done it. We've actually done it." On the bridge, Sarah allowed herself a moment of fierce pride in her crew's achievement. "Well done, Commander. Now, let's show them what we can do with all this power. Begin energy redistribution sequence. All weapon stations, prepare for maximum yield burst." The Avalon's quantum echoes began to pulse with contained energy, their synchronized pattern shifting into an attack formation. They had absorbed the enemy's greatest attack and turned it into their greatest weapon. Now it was time to demonstrate why humanity's greatest strength wasn't in their technology, but in their ability to push beyond what everyone else thought possible. Victory through unity. The space around Saturn blazed with energy as the TSS Avalon's quantum echoes pulsed with absorbed power. On the bridge, Captain Sarah Chen watched the tactical display with intense focus. They had one chance to end this, to show the Nexer Empire why humanity was not to be underestimated. All quantum echoes synchronized, Marcus reported from his station. Enemy fleet is attempting to recharge their main weapon arrays, but they're showing significant power depletion. "They threw everything they had at us," Commander O'Neill observed. "They never expected us to absorb and amplify it." Sarah nodded. "And that's exactly why we're going to win." Lieutenant Commander Tanaka, begin final power distribution sequence. In engineering, Yuki's hands moved across her controls with practiced precision, initiating power synchronization. The quantum network is responding better than we could have hoped. Each echo is maintaining perfect field coherence. The hundreds of Avalon quantum echoes began moving in formation, creating an intricate pattern around the enemy fleet. The Nexer ships fired sporadically, their shots passing harmlessly through some echoes while others absorbed the energy, adding it to their already overwhelming power reserves. "Their targeting systems are completely overwhelmed," Maya reported. "They can't distinguish real weapon signatures from quantum echoes. Their command and control network is showing signs of complete failure." High Admiral Vexthor's voice crackled across the command channel, his usual arrogance replaced by something approaching fear. "What are you? How can one ship possess this kind of power?" "We are humanity," Sarah responded calmly. "We don't build 1,000 ships when one perfect ship will do. We don't rely on numbers. We innovate. We adapt. we overcome. And now, Admiral, we're going to show you exactly what that means. She turned to her crew. Begin final attack sequence. Commander Tanaka, initiate Protocol Omega Final. Captain, Yuki's voice held a note of concern. If we channel this much power through the quantum network at once, the ship will hold, Sarah said firmly. Because it has to. Because every person on Earth is counting on us. Execute the protocol. The quantum echoes began to pulse in sequence, creating a cascading wave of energy that rippled through space. The pattern was complex, beautiful, a testament to human ingenuity and determination. Energy synchronization complete, Yuki reported. All systems aligned. We're ready. Sarah stood from her command chair. Target their command ships. Not to destroy, just disable. Show them that we could destroy them, but choose not to. That's the difference between us. The Avalon's quantum echoes released their stored energy in perfect synchronization. The combined power of 1,000 ships, absorbed and amplified through human innovation, struck the Nexer fleet's command vessels with surgical precision. Communication arrays shattered, weapon systems overloaded, and engines failed as carefully targeted energy bursts disabled ship after ship. Direct hits confirmed, Marcus announced. Enemy command and control network is offline. Their fleet's organization is collapsing. On the main screen, they watched as the mighty Nexer armada began to drift, their rigid battle formation dissolving into chaos as ships lost contact with their command structure. The empire that had conquered countless civilizations had been brought low by a single human vessel. Opening communication channel, Maya reported. Admiral Vexthor is signaling. The alien commander's image appeared on screen. His crystalline exoskeleton was cracked in places, and his 4 eyes showed something humans had never seen in a Nexer before. Respect. We withdraw, he said simply. Our weapons are powered down. You have won, Captain Chen. We severely underestimated your species. A common mistake, Sarah replied. One I suggest you don't repeat. The Sol system is under humanity's protection. Spread the word. We're not interested in conquest or dominion, but we will defend our home. As the Nexer fleet began their retreat, Commander O'Neill moved to Sarah's side. They'll be back, he said quietly. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not for years, but they'll return. Yes, Sarah agreed, watching the enemy ships disappear into faster-than-light travel. But next time they'll come seeking alliance, not conquest. Because today we showed them something they've never seen before. That true strength isn't about numbers or size of fleet. It's about innovation, determination, and the courage to push beyond what others think possible. The TSS Avalon's quantum echoes gradually faded away as the ship powered down its revolutionary systems. They had achieved the impossible, one ship standing against 1,000. But more importantly, they had shown the galaxy that humanity was a force to be reckoned with, not through overwhelming firepower, but through the power of human ingenuity and the unwavering spirit of exploration and innovation that defined their species. As the Avalon turned toward Earth, its mission accomplished, Sarah looked at her crew with pride. They had proved that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in their weapons or technology, but in their ability to face impossible odds and find a way to overcome them. The stars themselves had witnessed their victory, and the legend of the ship that stood alone against an empire would echo through the galaxy for generations to come.